Now we're going to set the hook timing and the shuttle point, and this is really important. So the very first thing we're going to do is remove the presser feet like we have here, and we're going to turn the machine forward till this needle bar is at its lowest point. It has not started to come up. And then we're going to take a measurement between here and here. So with the plate on here, I made a little mark here. And that distance is going to need to be 26 millimeters. So you can either, if you can't get something in here, try this, making a little mark. And if you look, that's 26 millimeters. Now we're going to remove this faceplate, and we do this by removing these screws here. So we'll do that. So we loosen these two screws, and then we're able to remove the cover. Alright, so we've removed the cover. And what we want to look at now is these two screws that clamp the needle bar, which you kind of see right here and here. So if we are in this position, needle bar at the lowest point, and you do not have 26 millimeters here, then you're going to need to loosen these two screws with an Allen wrench, and then raise or lower this until you get a 26 millimeter dimension right here. Next thing we're going to do is remove this raceway, and that's done by removing these two screws. Be careful when you take these off, because they do have a spring on the end. Okay, then I like to turn this machine over until the shuttle's like in this position. Loosen and remove these two screws. Be careful of the little spring. You might have to take a screwdriver here and then lightly pull the race off like so, and then you can remove the hook assembly. And take a note on this. When you pop this out, when you pull down your thread, that's turning counterclockwise. It's always important, because there's going to be a little spring in here, and you may have to take a screwdriver to pull it out, but you'll grab that, pull it out like so, and it sits in there like an ice cream cone. Okay. Now if you're splitting the thread and having problems, it's very possible that this point or any part of this has a little bit of a nick. You can't have anything. This needs to be smooth, very, very smooth. So if there is anything like that, you need some crocus, extremely something fine to polish this with. A buffing wheel is the best if you have it. So you make sure that all this is totally free from any kind of nick. If you feel a little bit on there, polish it off. Very, very, very important. While you got this apart, you want to take this ring out. Notice it is beveled here. Make sure you put it back that direction, the bevel to the back. And while that's out, if there's any crap in here, pieces of leather, oil, thread, stuff, clean this all out. Get it all nice and clean. It's a good opportunity to do that. Now we're going to turn the machine towards us until this point is at as far as it can go here. And it's going to start to return. So we want to make sure we're at the farthest point we can get to, right? See there, okay? Now with it in its farthest point, let's put the shuttle in there, and then we're going to, it moves around here. Make sure that you're in contact at the bottom right there. And that's the farthest direction the shuttle can move counterclockwise. And at this point, we're going to have about 6 millimeter distance between the tip of that point and that center of the needle. You want to make sure that is, and if it isn't, we're going to show you how to change that and get that correct. Now we can leave this patented Ferdco Pro2000 needle guide in if you want. If you do have it in, you want to ensure that it clears kind of make sure that it's not hitting anywhere in here. And now we're going to time the hook and needle bar together. Now we're going to get this shuttle put back together. So I'm assuming now if you found any burrs, you've cleaned all that off. This is nice and sharp. We're going to replace this spring again, put it back in, put it in like an ice cream cone, like so. Drop that in there. Next, we're going to put the machine in this position by turning the handle towards you. And let's just set that shuttle in there. And now we're going to take our race assembly and put this on here. Please note where the screw holes are, and that little inner part is with the bevel back. Make sure that it lines up here in the screw holes. If they're off a little, take your screwdriver and align it. So next thing you want to do is take this here race and just put it in there and slip it in there. Make sure that these holes align, and the screws, make sure the little spring is on them, and replace those into each side and then tighten. Alright, so tighten each one of these screws up.